Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And this is
Wise Words for Dodo Birds.
In this episode, Sam and I sit down and we talk about icons, both good and bad, and what their cultural relevancy is. So we hope you enjoy this episode, and thank you for listening.
So I don't really have the highest opinion of Kanye West. I just don't. For a lot of reasons. There's obvious ones.
What are some of your obvious ones?
I mean, you know, he does these interviews and says some of this crazy shit.
Well, he's done a couple.
Yeah, and you know,
it's
like,
a blip in his career.
Just this, like, I'm a genius, I'm a god.
Yeah, he had an album called Yeezus.
Right. And what was it like? My greatest regret is that I'll never get to see myself perform live. You know, this kind of shit. And like, so all that those are the obvious things you asked, you know.
Okay.
So like those for me are just like the obvious, like.
So it's the ego stuff, not like
narcissism, you know, that sort of attitude. But yeah, I don't think he's a very good rapper either.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I was gonna tell you that I think there's a place for, you know, because music is so subjective.
It is.
In the aspect that like all genres have like huge gaps, you know? Like,
absolutely. Each individual song can mean different things and a lot of the best artists say that too. They're like, my song can mean to you whatever you want it to mean to you.
And so sometimes you just want to listen to stupid music. I get that way sometimes where it's like,
But see,
I'm not finna dig in deep right now.
That's me with like Weird Al. Like I love Weird Al, man.
Is that like a religious experience, or do you feel like goosebumps off of Weird Al?
Well, it's just one of those things, like you said, whenever you're like, when you're not trying to dig deep.
I just want to
laugh, you know, like I want to enjoy it, you know.
I got you.
And it's not like I don't want to have to like sit here and have it really mean a song.
Yeah.
And some of Jack Black, Tenacious D,
sure,
know, like the video games one.
That's my point. Is like sometimes you just need something fun.
Absolutely.
And I think like Kanye West might be
that for
a lot of people, like because he's pretty mainstream. With that being said, I don't think he's very good either, and the anti-Semitism stuff is not very cool either. I did watch that.
There's that too.
I did watch that whole podcast. It was so fun.
Was that the one where he's wearing the mask?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
At Alex Jones.
I didn't even watch it.
It was
Alex Jones? Okay.
Oh, it's amazing. I signed up for InfoWars that day because I was like working, and I was like, I'm going to be working for another 4 hours. Fuck it. I'm going to listen to Alex Jones and Kanye West.
You're braver than me, man.
It was gold, man. It was like
gold in the sense of comedy?
Insanity. Yeah, dude. Okay. Like, first off, Alex Jones was this most sane guy in the room. There was another like super right-wing young like tech bro. I can't remember his name because it's been a while. I'm not gonna like rehash the whole thing, but like, yeah, he like Alex Jones on many occasions really had to be like, hey, we didn't really mean that, did we? When you say you love, you really meant kind of, and he's like, no, double down. And
I actually do think I heard something about that.
But there were many moments where Alex was like, let's see.
Exactly. That's what I heard too. Was like, it's next level if you got Alex Jones going, hold on, let's tone it down.
The professional caricature, like,
hold on, let's tone it down.
Yeah, it tells you need to settle down. Yeah.
That fucking guy, dude.
Anyway.
But yeah, you know, basically, yeah, I was having a conversation with somebody about it. And I don't know. Again, I think that, you know, he thought.
What was his argument?
Dude, his argument was I mean, I don't know. See, we eventually, at first it was hilarious because like I was ripping on. All right. So I walked in and I don't know what the song was. I don't know because I don't even know Kanye's voice when I hear it all the time. Like that's how seldomly I have, and I've heard his music. So it's like, I know I just don't care for Kanye, you know, but I'm so uninterested in him that I don't really know his voice when I hear it. And this song was talking about, I'll bang a chick on a sink, or, you know, even Lil Dicky pointed out that, like, he's like, got that song. He's like, I had sex with the pharaoh. I put the pussy in the sarcophagus, you know.
Yeah.
And people don't even bat an eye at that. But, like, my coworker, at first it was almost like getting defensive. And he's like 24 years old. I'm 30, or he's like, yeah, 24, 25. I'm 31, and he's like, you might just be too old. First off, he was like, you're just too old to get it. And I was like, first off, Kanye was a thing when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I didn't like him then either.
I'm saying you're too young to get it.
Yeah, well,
like, you haven't seen the whole career.
I think that was mostly just like, again, a kind of a defensive, like trying to get under my skin argument. But I just kind of laughed it off. I even gave him a look like I didn't like Kanye when I was a kid either.
I love when people just like idolize. Well, like especially when you're young, you latch on to a thing or two. But I love when people idolize like artists or like actors or whatever, what have you. Like I learned a lesson at a old age. I got into like this super underground, really like scuffed like rapper, and I was like one of like 1,700 people listening to him at one point, and now he's like up to, you know, like 500,000 monthly listeners or something. And I just saw him recently, and that was like a big deal. I was like, dude, fuck yeah. I've been here since the beginning. He was garbage. It was so disappointing. He was such a dickhead. All the other acts went on this like little side stage and like would do a couple pictures and autographs and stuff. I go over there, post up like right away, like yo, and like they just walked straight past, like and like I paid too much money to go to a concert I wasn't really looking for other people for. Like ego and all that stuff. Like, yeah, don't idolize any artist because they're probably dickheads.
Right, or at least wait until you maybe have an opportunity backstage, meet them, you know, do something. Wait till you think you kind of know them, you know, or, you know, some of them.
If they get to be that gatekeepy, fuck you.
Right.
Just be a person.
Right.
I was
going to say.
There's a lot of people that are just like, there's some celebrities that you'll see out in the wild and they're like really cool. You know, they're just, you know, I'm sure they have boundaries, but whatever. I don't know.
Well, and like more back on that conversation I had with my coworker, we kind of settled, like, because again, after we got past that kind of like sort of defensive argument, we both settled on like songs mean different things to different people, and I don't think he particularly idolizes Kanye.
Okay.
Like he just likes the music, you know, and I can respect that to a degree because even young Phantom enjoyed the occasional Kanye song. Okay. And, you know,
so he separates the work from the...
Yeah. I very much so, yeah. Like, I don't think he cares for Kanye as a human being. Yeah, no. Like, I don't think he's one of those
I just feel like you sign up for the man and the brand, you know?
And sometimes,
maybe like, I'm
a big fan of...
No, that's not true. That's
not
hypocrite.
Not always.
I don't live my life that way.
Like, I'm a big fan of Falling in Reverse, and I don't like Ronnie Radke very much. Yeah, he's not a good person.
Pretty talented.
Yeah, very talented. But, you know, I'm also a fan of All Time Low, and all those guys are fucking great human beings. Like, their hearts are as warm as the music that they make. You know what I mean? So
I guess
just have to like pay attention.
Sometimes you do have to just separate though. Like I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan.
Okay.
He's a writer from like the 30s.
Oh, okay.
Even for the time, he is known to be a wild racist.
Oh, like, sure.
Even for the time, people are like,
even for that time, really?
He's kind of...
This guy's bad. Oh, wow. If you were considered racist by other people in the 30s,
if you write in a magazine and people are like, this guy sucks.
So then what...
But his writing is fantastic.
What did he write that made you a fan?
Oh,
just an example.
invented a genre of my favorite is cosmic horror.
Okay.
Like so he was one of the first people to like write a story about human being low on the food chain instead of high.
Well, and maybe
he sucked. He had a lot of racial slurs that were not cool.
Well, maybe he was a contributor to that whole the black guys die in the horror movie. I mean, maybe not, but like,
his racism was not so
Not like
cut and
that.
dry. It was just I'm not going to get into it, but like I love his storytelling.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Wow. Yeah. See, and that's the
I
thing.
would have both
actually,
asked for an autograph and beat that man up.
Yeah. and I kind of avoid learning too much about certain celebrities just because I don't care that much. I just want to enjoy the art, And then, if you find out they're a great person, it's like, that's awesome. That's always like heartwarming. And if you find out they're an awful person, it's like, yeah, well, I don't want to stop jamming the song. So like in the defense, again, the whole thing about Kanye was like, I don't think he's good either. I don't think he's good lyrically. I think he has some really good beats and stuff. Like there's a lot of work that goes into his
production
music.
is pretty
absolutely
pretty tight.
It's fucking solid. But like it's just like lyrically, it's like if somebody tells me that a Kanye West song has some real meaning to them, I feel bad for him almost. But again, like I was saying with my coworker, each to his own on that.
For sure. All right. What do you think Kim Jong-un's doing right now? Okay, what's like a Tuesday for Kim Jong-un?
A Tuesday for
What do you think he does? Keep in mind, this man, we talked about egos. This man, he actually tells people he's a god.
This
is literal. Kanye's a little more subtle.
I don't know if it was him or his dad, but one of them said that they invented the hamburger. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
And one of them also claimed, I can't remember again if it was him or his dad, that they didn't defecate.
That's shit. That's current lore still.
Yeah. It's current lore. But as far as like, what is he doing? What's his day to day, man? Like, I really have no idea. I feel like, because he's still buddy with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
As as much as anybody.
Yeah,
at this particular time. But what is it? Tuesday like? Man, I really have. I almost wonder if it's like almost similar to Trump, where it's like he's just thinking about himself most of the time. Like, how can I make myself look awesome to other people?
No, this dude has like a harem. He has like I bet he wakes up, breakfast in bed, lobster, eggs.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, you're talking about
17 women. This is Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sure. You mean starting from the beginning? Okay.
He probably watches like. What do you think is his morning? What does he watch? What's his like pump up, or is he?
That's the thing. There's all sorts of stuff there that we don't have any idea about.
Just what do you think?
What is Kim Jong? I mean,
this man is secret in nature, so we could.
He probably. I mean, if I was him, I would enjoy those '50s videos of Americans being afraid of nuclear bombs. Where like the families are like. Or like kids are hiding under desks, or like, and then like there's an explosion in the background and it just says not a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, no. They have those at public places in schools. That's everyday stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think he? I see him like a rap bro. Like, I bet he like listens to like Young Jeezy or something, like something, maybe even something corny. Gets himself pumped up.
So I have a story that I know about Russia and Vladimir Putin that ties into exactly what you're saying. Okay, so Putin, there's a song in Russia called "A Man Named Putin," and it's just all about how he is the shit. It's about how he's the greatest fucking guy you could ever want in your life. And I imagine that North Korea has a lot of that same stuff going on, and I would not be surprised because, like, they talk about how they're all subjected to like whatever the government wants them to be subjected to. I think he subjects himself to the same shit. You know what I mean? Anything stroking his own ego and kissing his own ass.
Yeah,
I think
this
is
man
on the table.
This
so when you're talking about music, I think he listens to something like Kim Jong-un is the fucking best.
No.
I mean,
there's
that's
no
the
way.
kind of music that has to. Let me rephrase. There's
These
no
are
music.
public displays of dominance. They're different than leisure time. Like, those things are power play. Like, propaganda, you know, but like, he has to be a guy to some degree, you know, like if he's a true villain all the time, like I'm not saying he's not a villain. He is a villain.
No.
But if he was like,
is what I'm saying.
But if he was always in villain mode, he would be better at it.
No. Well, yeah, no. I don't think I'm not alluding to his villainism. It's the narcissism. It's the I'm the best attitude. That's like I'm a god. I'm the best.
Yeah.
And I think that anything that reinforces that idea about himself is what is incorporated in his life. And like you said, wakes up, breakfast in bed. That's a perfect example. Like, there's no way I would do anything but eat breakfast in bed brought to me by 17,
yeah, beautiful
women. And I think that's exactly his life. You know what I mean? I think whatever it is that, because that's what those guys are like, man. The ones that have North Korea's in the fucking dark, and that's because this guy wants it all for himself. So, like, yeah, I think this dude wakes up. Well, you said you think he's a Young Jeezy fan. It's like I think he's a Kanye West fan.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah, for sure. Or like it would be cool if he listened to like really obscure, just like super hood music, or like
it would be hilarious.
Or the ultimate villain mood is like all classical. All the time,
dude.
That's like you're scary. Then
that's what China. What's his name?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping. Yeah,
classical.
Yeah,
all the time.
Classical with that guy for sure.
Yeah, you walk in,
dude. They get things done. The Chinese government is evil. Say what you want about them being evil, but they get things done.
If Xi Jinping is like has his back turned and anybody walks into a room. And like, I bet it's always classical music. Every like time that happens, it's probably like, the third act of an action film.
Yeah, man. Life in the day of Kim Jong-un. So, after breakfast in bed with the 17 hookers, Asian hookers or whatever.
Yeah. Because keep in mind he's a fan of like basketball and like so he likes things. Do you think he's like playing golf shittily somewhere, doing like the Trump thing, or like
that's the thing?
He might like race cars.
I'm wondering if he's how much of his because like I don't keep tabs on him.
Yeah,
I don't think many people do. But
you can't inherently.
You can't really. Yeah,
that's why it's a good thought exercise. You have no idea what that guy's like, but he has unlimited resources and a whole like
unlimited resources. Maybe he personally does, but his country certainly doesn't.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm saying like
but he's like the richest guy. Yeah, sure. In that sense,
not like. No, because they're a joke.
Well, from that, yeah. Well, and from that perspective, one thing I know about him. I know that it is, but see, and I don't know. I know it's a big deal that he wants to he just wants the world to see him as this big, dangerous guy. But like, how much of his time is he putting into taking that seriously as opposed to just enjoying being the richest, most powerful guy in his country? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet he's eating cucumber sandwiches, getting his feet rubbed in
right. I mean,
like bunny
if that was all he wanted, though, you know what I mean? Wouldn't it just be simple enough to like... I don't know.
Well, they don't do anything or make anything, or like they're pretty far in the hole where it's just like, you have to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never.
He's just the richest guy in the worst place,
like in the worst place in the world.
And he has
exactly.
to be the worst person because they're some
first world.
That's where the thought is like they don't make any money as a country, so it's like he just needs to siphon all the citizens to have a Lamborghini and like Air Jordans and
right. Maybe that's what's going on.
That is what's going on because it's for him
let me put it blatantly. Nuclear programs cost a lot of money. If that was all he was after, why even have one of those?
Bruh, they have like our 17th rank hand-me-down nukes.
Sure. No, I'm not implying that they have any sort of real capability, but they have a program.
Your little science lab.
And that's kind of, I'm just saying that's an expensive thing.
For sure.
And if all his motive was like, cucumber sandwiches and getting his feet rubbed, then like, there'd be a different kind of problem in North Korea, I feel like.
Oh, no. I'm not saying... I said Tuesday.
Tuesday, right. That's right. We're just talking about Tuesday.
Just Tuesday. But that's all right. We'll move on.
Okay. Yeah, no. So, do you ever think... on that note, do you ever think about... well, like, the notes you have on your phone and, like, if you die? Because, like... It's like, and then someone's going to go through your phone, right? At some point. And it's just like, or especially if it's like connected to your computer. And so like people are on your computer and stuff. It's like, it's just like a shopping list, like milk, eggs, chicken.
I think about that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I have a lot of weird things that would probably catch people off guard in my notes. Because I'm a note guy. I like...
I've been getting more, and actually I've been putting Dodo Bird's notes in there too. So like some of this stuff.
Yeah, if you have any sort of stupid idea, that could be like the seed of a good one. So I've just made it habitual to... So like there would definitely be a lot of things that my loved ones would go through. They'd be like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, because, anywhere from... Yeah, just writing stuff and different characters and
mine would find
jumbled nonsense lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe not so many lyrics, but like in mine you'd find definitely some random like a shopping list, and then just some notes about maybe some video games too, and like notes about current events. Like I have notes that I have prepared for the Dodo Birds podcast, whether we've actually done them or not, that are on there. And so you'll just find like, and jokes, sometimes I used to write jokes all the time on my phone.
Yeah. You have to be studious about grabbing those ideas while they're there, because you will forget them.
Yeah.
Like I've forgotten so many things that could have been something maybe. But like, a lot of times for me, it's like I'm in the middle of something and then like that idea comes. It's like, okay, well, just jot that down super quick and we'll deal with you later. Like,
yeah, I need to get better about doing it too, honestly.
Do you think there's anything in like, is there anything in your house that would be shocking to your family?
I don't think so.
Or like not shocking, let's say like surprising. Like
no.
Like you collect miniature tea sets or something.
No. The one thing there, I didn't even get it. A girl brought it over and it's like this leash thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. They'd probably find that and wonder what I was into, but I actually only ever used it one time, and it's not really my thing, but it's still there.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory that that's not for you. Like,
or at the very least that like it's not that, it's like those are exactly the kinds of things you would not expect me to tell my family about at the very least, but like nothing crazy, like actually Dave, the TV show about Little Dicky. I wondered about that, like, because he has this, first off, it doesn't make sense because he probably has some psychological problems because he has a beautiful girlfriend who like wants to like be sexually exploring and stuff like that. But then he has, have you seen the show?
Yeah.
That what is it? A silicone like fake
body. Like it's a torso.
It's missing. It's just like the ass down, but it's got like legs all the way down to the feet. It's just the weirdest thing. And I was just like, That's what I was wondering about. I was like, what if you have that and then you like die in a car crash, man? Like people are gonna find that thing.
Yeah.
All the other weirdness about that aside, it's just like, why would you even keep something like that around? And you got issues. I feel like you have something wrong with you if you'd rather fuck that thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I mean, again, I know there's some lonely people, but I thought that's who those were made for, you know?
I think my book or like music taste would throw off my family the most.
Oh, yeah?
It's like, oh, okay, just recently listened to Fetus Grinder and Celine Dion. And,
yeah, see.
And I bounce around a lot, like, you know,
nothing
I
like
go
that,
through a lot of
yeah.
stuff.
I don't think anything like that would shock my family. You know, like that's the thing.
They'd just be surprised, like not shocking. You know,
right?
Like a body in the basement would be shocking, and neither one of us have that. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like there's nothing. That's the thing. There's nothing extreme.
Shocking's
there.
not the right word, but like surprising. Or like my book taste, like anywhere from fantasy to like self-help to I read a book about like mountains in Virginia once.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you find those. See, like I'm trying to think about like, did I, you know, if I, because I went through that process of like, you know, going through a loved one's things after passing away, and there were things that it was like kind of a surprise, like an OnlyFans, like not like a consumer account, I should say. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the right words for it.
Oh,
but like,
okay.
You know, like apparently like a huge OnlyFans consumer, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was like a surprising thing, but it was like, it was something I never knew. Didn't really, you know, it wasn't like, oh my God. It was like, okay, you know?
So like they would pay for a subscription?
Yeah. You know, here and there, I guess. I don't know.
I gotta say that I did it once just to see, like, and there was
I've
like
thought about it for the same reason, but I don't want to pay the money.
Yeah, and so like it was actually funny because my wife Mary and I were like, let's see, like,
yeah, let's see,
because we were
what's
both
on
curious, there. Like what does an OnlyFans subscription? So like we knew this fucking big titty lady that we both follow on Instagram or like see all the time or something, and so we're like hers, and it was just like $5, and it's super weird actually.
Really? I mean, yeah, from what I've heard, again, I've never wanted to pay the money. So it's mostly
just like, you know, in this case, but like it was just like, you know, your standard pictures of butts and boobs.
Butts and boobs, okay.
in different places.
Ass and titties.
Ass in different locations. And but the creepy part is that you can tip for like variant videos or like special
personalized
requests,
content or
so
something.
every time you get a subscription, you just got like 5 things from the creator being like, hey, I do custom videos too. And the list was wild
of all the things that they're willing
that's
to
like
do.
when it got me thinking. I was like, this is like an unhealthy place for creepy weirdos to just like get obsessed with a person, to come back to what we were talking about
I guess, you know, like I never really idolizing. Thought about that.
No, that's what exactly what it is. I want you to wear the same dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's and then listen to Billy Idol while you eat waffles topless.
See, that sounds unhealthy.
Right. That's not good for you.
We've gone from what was supposed to be healthy fantasy to now,
Yeah, like, and so
and that was another thing.
The butts and boobs in different locations is the bait for the weirdos who, and this is not, it's not a conspiracy. This is literally like, look up like custom requests, and many creators have different things, obviously. You know, some people will put avocado between their toes, but some won't.
Right. I actually did meet a girl who, and you know, I couldn't, I was like, it's genius because a guy was paying her for pictures of like her thigh, like nothing else. It was like just her thigh.
4 inches of thigh.
Yeah, something like that. And he was giving her actual money for this. And she's like, it feels really weird, but he's giving me money.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a naked picture. So I'm doing it. And I was like, oh.
Think of how many women, I mean, I know it's less. It's been declining. But like around COVID times when it was peak OnlyFans times, how many girls were just taking... This might come off the wrong way, but like how many girls were taking money and feeling gross about it? But that applies for men as well. Like,
sure,
there were dudes that were probably putting places for money.
I was gonna say, if you put the right price on it, I would do it. I've just never thought that anyone would actually like. I made a joke about it. You need to be
super hot or have like a shtick,
dude. Like, not even like I was talking to a friend about it, and she was just like, you'd be surprised. You could take pictures of your man feet and put them on an OnlyFans and get money for it. You? I don't know.
Self-promotion of man feet. Pretty flooded market.
I was thinking through the eyes of a straight guy. I was like, it's always pervy dudes, and she's like, you think there aren't pervy gay dudes who just want to look at your feet?
Sure. But like, yeah.
From that particular angle, I was
you're
like,
right.
Okay.
You're right, but like in some ways that I don't know, if you're just like a super hot guy, super hot girl, and you just have an Instagram, you can pretty much, and a Twitter, you can farm stuff. Sure. Like you can get publicity, but like
but apparently
I feel like there would be more photography skills involved in good feet pics too. Like
maybe
boobs are like, it's a primal thing. Go like, oh yeah.
And I'm sure the more effort you put in, the more you make.
You could have 480p boobs and they would be fine for most people. But like, I feel like a foot pic to really sell it. You got like a light box. You've got.
I'm sure it ranges. I'm sure there's people who could give a fuck.
If I did that, I have scars on my feet, so maybe there's like a market for that.
Exactly.
I would want like a good like wood, like a cutting board or something, like a nice backdrop.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't even know what. I'm not.
You could do different
feet.
Seasons. You could do like feet in the snow.
Like if you mentioned the scars, like. Forget the fucking quality of the picture. There might be people who's like, I could have the best, backdrop, all the greatest things for mine, but you have those scars and maybe some hair on your toes or whatever, and that's just what they want. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the point my friend was making. She was like, if you really want to do this, there's someone out there who has
it's higher value content is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, always go the extra mile.
Like
as
if
with
Dave wants to pay for the scars, I want to give him his money's worth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. And there's always going the whole 9. Yeah.
But that would be the creepiest one to have. If you have a feet based OnlyFans, your requests are getting weird.
Oh yeah.
Every request is weird already. I mean, I'm not shaming people with foot fetish, but
sure.
It's feet.
It's feet. It's weird.
It's not a common thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway,
and it's also not meant in a bad way.
Moving on, but like, your request would be wild. Like, what do you think some of the requests would be? Okay, so let's say I have tasteful feet pics. Like that's the OnlyFans account. It's tasteful feet pics. So I do the wood. I do different blankets. I do different. At Christmas time, I'll do wrapping paper. Like, what's like a good? What would be some custom ones? Like maybe draw pictures on them, like a face, or
on custom Christmas wrapping papers.
No, I'm saying like what would be the custom request for your feet OnlyFans?
For the feet OnlyFans, I mean, there's pie.
Yeah. Foot in pie.
Yeah, foot in the pie.
Okay.
That seems basic. There's all kinds of next level.
Okay, like, yeah, that's going to be $20.
There's dozens of different foods you could use, and then
just food requests.
There's a lot of people who's just like, can you pee on your own foot? You know, and then can you freeze the pee?
Different nail polish colors.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
sure.
I'm charging $3 a toe.
Yeah, could you paint it like the Ice Truck Killer? You know? yeah.
I was thinking purple, but like the Ice Truck Killer, I'm paying.
It was basically just a rainbow of fucking, you know.
Yeah. That's going to be $10 a toe.
Yeah, $10 a toe, or even $4 a toe. Like, and I'll let you watch me do it live.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, is this doing anything for you, bro?
Right.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a Zoom call. It would just be a live stream. Oh, God. $100 for the Zoom call.
I mean, I've never really delved into that world personally. This
is not a field of expertise for me as well, but I'm just imagining. Because
I don't know what the prices would be. Like, I don't know what you could fetch for these kinds of things.
Yeah. I think it's not like, unless you're just a 10, like you have to have a novelty niche. So
I have flat feet. So like, is there a market for that? You know, like, do you want to see my flat footprint because it looks different than a regular footprint? Does that get you off?
For some, just like some it would, but like,
you know what I mean? It's something I would never thought of until having this particular conversation.
I'm just thinking about like all the different. How many weird, like, how many people are doing really strange niches to, differentiate themselves? Like playing tuba dressed like the Grinch.
Sure. Yeah,
or like
a weird thing.
Like
or playing the violin while on a unicycle.
There's probably a lot of people like monetizing their weird niche or like whatever. Did you see... Were you aware of like the kind of recent NPC trend on like TikTok or like Instagram? So it was like it's a pretty popular recent trend where you'll go on TikTok live and usually you're, an attractive woman. You go on TikTok live and people can pay money to send you gifts. And gifts are like roses or it's a piece of chicken or whatever. And you give them the gifts and they go like, like, thanks for the hot dog, yum, yum. And like, oh my God. And you basically command them what to do by paying money for gifts. And they do these phrases and stuff. It's very stupid, very dumb and weird. And, but anyway, that broke off, like hot girls pushing their tits together and going like, yum yum, like evolved into like people doing full like character NPCs. Like, you would have like Grizzly Dave by the docks and be like, thanks for the glizzies. Like, like, okay. But like it branched off from like standard, sex appeal to these weird niche creators that are like making money being like a one-eyed pirate on TikTok doing NPC trends.
I don't know.
You didn't hear anything about that?
See, I should get TikTok or maybe not TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok and
Instagram.
Like, it was just in the zeitgeist.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I did.
Yeah, it was just something that kind of was popular for a little bit. Yeah, it just evolved into this really weird thing where people were doing characters like, Trevor from GTA 5 and just all these like different obscure things. It was kind of interesting. Like
it's definitely something I could see.
As trends do, it's fading out now, but for like a month or two back, it was like the most popular thing and people were making gobs of cash for really silly reasons. Sometimes I enjoy that, Yeah, today I listened to a pretty like interesting podcast. I like to listen to the Theo Von like this past weekend, I believe is the podcast. I just like how off the cuff and like random his brain is,
Yeah, Theo Von's got I've seen a couple of his. Cause,
yeah,
you know,
and it's not particularly smart or anything, but like it's one of those things that it's fun.
For the same reason I stumbled onto Joe Rogan is they have guests that I am a fan of.
Sure.
And so I find out about them by default because the guests, I'm there to see what the guest has to say about things.
And I actually think that that's one of the most educational ways to learn a topic is by having a smart guy in the room and a dummy like me.
Yeah.
Who is like,
but
how'd that work?
Well, that's the thing. That's not a dummy. To me, the dummies are the ones who claim to know how things work but don't.
But no, I'm just saying, like in comparison, like
you're talking about like, a dummy who asks questions. Who's like, well, how does that work? It's like, well,
yeah. When there's an astrophysicist in the room, Joe Rogan is lower on the intelligence scale.
He's the dummy.
I like that he can sometimes ask questions that like I would.
At least he asks he asks the dummy questions. That's a good way to put it.
The normal person questions, like. You know, like, if it's two astrophysicists, their conversation is above our head. But, like, if it's Joe Rogan and an astrophysicist, he'll ask some of the things
if it's some guy whose peak understanding is mostly, like, physical fitness and fighting, and he's asking questions about astrophysics.
Like, he's asking things about stuff he doesn't know anything about. But, yeah, I listened to Tucker Carlson today, and...
he was on Theo Von.
On Theo Von, and... It was one of those...
Not a guest I would be appealed to, but...
Yeah, it was so weird that I was like, you know what? Sure. And so Tucker Carlson's like son or somebody or daughter is like really into him, into Theo. Okay. I think they're like 20, 21 or something. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this show. You know, Tucker Carlson doesn't really know much about Theo, but he's like... I want to do a show that my kids will actually pay attention to. Sure. And I found it pretty illuminating or pretty...
Learned a little bit about him.
Yeah, it was very humanizing because like he's one of those people that I...
That's surprising because like you know me, I'm not a Tucker Carlson fan, so like I'm
not at all either.
Yeah, and like I would probably like see that episode and be like, I don't even want to watch this, but...
And I try to engage in things like that like be like, I wouldn't fuck with this. That like the Alex Jones and Kanye West thing. I was like, that's so crazy I have to listen.
Yeah. And that's good though, because like that's exactly what more people should do. They should, even if it's absolutely absurd. And I have watched some Fox News and shit just to like see what's being said on that particular end of things, and it can be tough.
I've seen plenty of Fox News with Tucker Carlson that gave me an emotional response.
Well, dude, if you watch, and you know something I want to say, and we will continue about that Theo Von thing, but if you watch Tucker Carlson for 10 minutes and then you watch Rachel Maddow for 10 minutes,
same fucking thing,
you're gonna get the same thing, just different ideology, and that's not good either way. You shouldn't watch either one of those.
The delivery, it's the same thing. They're playing the same character. On different networks, talking about even sometimes the same thing. They're just asking a different question the same way. Yeah. I can't believe that people fall for it. But anyway.
Yes, anyway. So he was on this Theo Von podcast.
Even on that thought that I can't believe people fall for it. Because like I saw Tucker Carlson unscripted, and Theo Von is one of those people that says a lot of really strange off the cuff stuff like, you ever seen someone get stabbed in a hardware store? So, like...
Yeah. I've seen a couple of him now with Theo Von, yeah.
Yeah, and, he's just very, very off the cuff. And so he got a lot of, like, very human responses from somebody I would have deemed...
Inhuman.
Not inhuman, but like not even maybe a villain, but like
he's just a character.
Fucking annoying.
It's so easy to just see him as this the character that he plays all the time.
And it was just like a reminder that a lot of people's like public persona, because he said a lot of things that, not a lot of things, but he said a few things that I definitely agreed with. Like, yeah, he said like a couple of like common sense things that I just was like, you know what? You're kind of okay, all right. It was just good to see him without the makeup and the persona, and that reminds me of like when we were talking about the Alex Jones and Kanye West. I'll edit this out,
but don't forget the EMP thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one of the things that I agreed with was that he was talking about like kind of the landscape of war and stuff right now, and they got on the topic of nuclear strikes. Theo Von asked, like, I'm pretty sure he asked if like that was relevant or if he was afraid of that, but Tucker Carlson said he was like more afraid of like EMPs. And
really,
not that I
think it's weird?
that's like relatable, but I think like
I was gonna say I never thought I would agree with Tucker Carlson on anything, but like to some degree I get that, because EMPs have all the, like, nukes do it too, right? But like shutting everything down, the mass chaos that comes from that, you know?
Yeah.
That is, if you do that right and you handle it right, you can control that. Like no one wants to launch nukes because of all the radiation and devastation, and the whole world could very well come to an uncontrollable end. But EMPs could make it, especially if you have like a perspective of control over it, a controllable end to the world. Now that's something people can work with.
Yeah, and like a reoccurring thing he talked about was the fact that he believes that the way our government is set up, that certain people have, just by nature, have control over others. And so he is, he said like worst case scenario for him is like he's very afraid of pure chaos where people are, there's no chain of command and somebody steps in, yeah, I'm not doing it justice, but he articulated it
well, and
in a way that
you could institute a level of chaos that, at least in the comparison to nukes thing, you could institute a level of chaos that doesn't require the level of devastation.
Yeah,
that nukes.
I mean, it could kill more people. Like if you cut out power grids, like
it wouldn't kill more people than like massive, than if everyone fired nukes.
Sure.
I mean, that would kill almost everybody.
Yeah.
But if you did EMPs, it would kill just enough people that you might be able to control what's left. If you're the person who has the control,
Well, you think about, there's no money, there's no food, there's no commerce,
but there's also no poison in the air. You know what I mean? You have a world, a climate
long term
that is still
long
stable.
Term it would,
so you just ride that wave, you
yeah
know? And yeah, and I don't know, again, I didn't watch the Theo Von Tucker Carlson. I don't know what kind of points he was making, but I've had that thought in my head for a long time, ever since the world became so dependent on smartphones. And like we've had now, like, I mean, it'll be like 10 more years, and there'll be an entire generation that smartphones existed from the day they were born. Not just because like we have one now where like they've existed since they were at least, 10 years old.
Sure.
But eventually we're going to have one. And when the whole world is dependent on those things, if you do launch EMPs and people have no power, I mean, it's going to collapse. It'll collapse for everybody, unless you're like the hardcore survivalist who has isolated yourself from everything like that. You're going to suffer from it, even if you shop from a place. Like unless you produce all your own food and do everything, like you're going to suffer, even if you're not someone who's on the smartphone all the time. Yeah,
I mean, like most of our money does not exist in paper money or gold or
it's all fucking digital.
It's all digital. If like all banks go down, I actually read a really good book about that exact scenario. It's called American Apocalypse, and it's great. It's just China EMPs us, but like it's a very human story about like a dude who's a little nature savvy because he would like spend the summer with his grandparents in a cabin, like, so it's just a normal dude kind of navigating that, and it's terrifying. Like people would lose their minds very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we talked, like Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
was a thing he brought up that he was there for, and he said that was like the first time he saw pure chaos. No power, no refrigeration, no trade. You couldn't buy things. You needed things because everybody's fucked up, but like you can't buy things. He said he saw like cops looting because they have families. They need things like.
No, I mean, it was the cops.
So if you see that chaos on a countrywide scale, like we can't even fathom that.
Oh no, I mean it would be back to tribalism. It would be such small scale. What's the local area got? How are people? Local economies would be much stronger for sure.
So I think that was interesting that everybody talks about nukes. But nukes are not like, I don't think nukes are really on the table most of the time.
It would take a madman.
It's something that,
it would take a madman who doesn't care if the world ends.
Yeah, it's intimidation.
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly. At this point, that's exactly what they are. But certain levels of EMP technology, it is, not to be a downer.
Those are ready to go.
Yeah, well, they are, but not quite to the massive scale.
Yeah,
because I've actually looked into it before, and it's like, yeah, it can be done, but like, unless you can do it to the whole world, eventually things will get.
Texas has its own power grid.
Texas does, and then there's the West Coast and East Coast. Yep. Well, East Coast, West Coast, like west side of the country and east side of the country.
But you could at least wipe out Texas, and that's enough to start a fucking something.
That's enough to start a lot of problems. And actually, we figured that out a couple years ago.
Have all the crazy, or like not crazy, I love Texas, presumably. But like the people who have firearms, that's where you start it for sure.
Yeah, that is where things start. People, angry people that are also, armed to the teeth.
Yeah, so that was something he ranted about that I was like, you know what? I'm willing to give you that. It was very humanizing to like. I'm not giving it justice. You should listen to the episode if you want to, but there were many occasions where I was like, you know what? This guy's just a guy. I heard him riff. Like, I think
people are often consumed by, by like character,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a fan of Tucker Carlson. I think he's a piece of shit. But
it's back to idolizing a character and only like huffing somebody's bullshit.
Yeah.
Kanye West. And I talked about like Kim Jong-un. Like he's playing a character. Alex Jones, they're playing a character.
Yeah.
They're guys at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like I found out Tucker Carlson is really into Zyn tobacco pouches, or nicotine pouches.
Yeah.
He thinks it's, he loves it. It's like, and he's like, I'm doing an unsponsored ad. Like I fucking love him. Like, yeah. He's a guy. He likes things,
And that's the thing. It's like, it's easy. I think one thing I've been wanting to say on this particular subject is like, if you hate people who view these people for buying into their bullshit without realizing yourself that they know it's bullshit, then you're just as dumb as the people who buy into it.
Yeah, if you get conned so many times, whose fault is it really?
Yeah.
Whose fault is it really? If you're not stupid, or like if you just feel so emotional about a take or something.
Honestly,
there's a lot of people like I believe Ben Shapiro, it sucks actually too, but he is making people angry on purpose.
Yeah, and you're letting him.
And you're letting him do it, and he's getting more famous because he's like, I don't believe women should have. I don't believe women should have rights and stuff. And they just know that you're gonna be like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Yeah, man.
Like, and you're dumb enough to do that. Like, just I don't know. Those people would have no power if nobody huffed their shit.
Well, and I personally don't think we hold the people, like, when you get mad at Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones, all these people, and, you can definitely legit be mad, but you can't direct and, like, like Alex Jones got sued in court. That was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because of the degree of defamation that there was there.
Yeah, not good.
But like, and for the people involved in that was the right move. But like for us to like be all involved and care too much about that, it's one of those things where it's like we need to hold the people responsible. If you're gonna hate Alex Jones, you should hate the people who are like. You should blame the people who listen to his crap.
Yeah.
You know, we need to blame them more. And I'm not saying that, again, people don't need to be held accountable for the things they do, but also blame the people who that's actually exactly what I'm saying. It's like
yeah. It's like
yes, hold these psychos responsible for what they're saying in a moral, in a social environment.
It's bad, but like if you're dumb enough to fall for it's the same thing with like phone scams or like QVC ads.
Yeah.
Like if you're stupid enough to buy, you know, a one-of-a-kind dipped in gold. This is a platinum. Yeah. You ain't going to find it.
And that's another thing. People are happy to do it when it's an old person who is usually, you know, declining in the upstairs department. Like, I've noticed that a lot. People are, like, happy to, like, yell at old people for, like, being old. But it's, like, part of the reason they're buying into this bullshit is because they're old. It's, like, there's also younger people who watch this shit. And it's, like, blame them for being stupid too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, yeah, it's not just old people, but it's the same type of gullibility. Like, if we find that bad, the fact that you give a shit what Cardi B says about anything is just as stupid as.
Well, and that was actually, you know, back to if we're gonna be as even as possible here with Taylor Swift, you know, and she like came out against. She finally like, I have to let everybody know what my political beliefs are. Like people probably didn't figure that out for themselves. She's like, I just can't stand by anymore. And it's like, what, were people like not interested in you anymore? You're saying this strictly for, you know, to come out and.
Oh, like people are like waiting. Like, I want to know what her political beliefs are.
Yeah.
It's like I want to imagine a reality where she's like a hardcore Trumper and like just puts a MAGA hat on in the middle of her fucking.
Exactly. It's like nobody doubted that.
No, I didn't.
You know, I doubt anybody.
I wasn't thinking about it. No.
Exactly.
Dude, congrats to her, by the way. I looked up. She is the second highest paid female artist for sure. Maybe she can't be the second richest woman, but she's definitely the second highest paid like artist,
female musician.
Yeah. The first place, who do you think it is? It was surprising to me.
I was about to ask you because like I have no fucking
I had to look
idea.
it up and I was the results will shock you.
You know, I guess some of my first guesses would be like Rihanna, Beyonce.
Oh, it's Rihanna.
Yeah.
I didn't guess that. I thought like Madonna or like.
Well, you
Beyonce.
know, maybe back. Yeah. Beyonce was on there too. Yeah, on my
I just
list,
figured if you had a bunch of money and like now you're old, maybe you have more money. Sometimes it works that way.
That's not always how it works, though.
Yeah, not always. But yeah, Rihanna and then Taylor Swift. I have to say that I'm impressed with the fact that she can go on a tour. That tickets sold for like $160 to $500, and then like okay, so I work at a place. I like helped a lady who got 2 Taylor Swift tickets like when they pre-released and sold out in 20 minutes, right? She got them for, I think she said like $130 or $160. She could now sell them for $1,600, and she was trying to convince her daughters, like, can we just go to like Cancun or something?
Right?
Like, no, instead of like Milwaukee to see Taylor Swift.
I am 100% for that. I respect it. I support it.
But even that, the fact that she has a movie, did you know this?
Taylor Swift?
She has a movie in theaters currently.
No.
I saw a movie in theaters over October, and I saw that there was her. I can't think of the tour name, but like it's the tour name, the movie, you know. And it's just, I don't know if it's different shots or if it's one concert. Maybe it would be cool if it's like each song she plays is from a different venue. Mm-hmm. That would be cool. I doubt it's that. Like, I bet it's one concert, and people paid movie prices to see the. So like, people paid $1,600 for nosebleed seats in person. Mm-hmm. And it's such a cultural phenomenon that people would pay $10 to see a screen of it. That's crazy. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
I mean, I respect that. I really do.
Let's see how much money this movie's made.
But that's another thing. Like, I don't shit on people who are taking advantage of that, like buying them tickets cheap and then selling them to go to Cancun. Like, I want to do that, and I personally am all for it. Like, and I'm glad, I have nothing against Taylor Swift, again, especially like when it comes to like when she came out about the political thing. It's like, okay, cool, I agree with you. Never would have guessed that I didn't, and it's just one of those things where it's like, I think she's another rich person. That's another thing. She's a lot of people who are like the eat the rich types. They're huge fans of her and Britney Spears, and they deserve their money.
No, it's like I think it's genius what she's done.
What, Taylor Swift?
Yeah. The fact that people are going to do it. Yeah, why would you not? If like somebody was like, hey, can I watch you make breakfast in a movie form? Mm-hmm. And I'll pay you money for it.
It's like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So she spent, it says $10 to $20 million on the production. So I would imagine it is the different venues. She probably had a full production crew. That's pretty cool. I bet the footage is great. I haven't seen it. But she has made $200 million globally. That's a 10x investment, my guy. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, that's crazy. Like, no other artist has done that. That's a milestone, man. Like, a movie about a tour that sold out in 20 minutes. Like, that's icon shit.
Do you think she's that good? Like,
I actually listen to the newest Taylor Swift album.
Yeah.
I make myself do these things if I'm like...
Is that the one the Anti-Hero song is off of? And see, I like that song. See, she's good. Here's my thing. What makes her so big, though? You know what I mean? That's like almost anyone. Like, even someone who I love, Eminem. What made him so big for so long? It's like, why? I mean, I guess with Eminem, I see it more.
It's pop music, man. Like,
it is.
You have to have. It just has to be there, Like, some people don't know what they like, so they. I'm not saying need to be told that because, like, I'm not saying that. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna bash pop music tonight, but
no, and that's the thing.
And I like quite a bit of pop music.
I don't dislike it. That's the thing. I love it. Like, honestly,
but I can't explain it.
I'm
really
not asking that question.
I can't quantify why. Why do a billion people?
Yeah. See, here's the thing, though. I get it. Like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know that he's ever made that kind of money, but I guarantee you that many people either love or loved him at one point, and I understood why.
But continue.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like he was everywhere.
Everywhere. For sure. Yeah.
The same degree that Taylor Swift is
zeitgeist.
Now. Yeah, this again, I don't know if the numbers were exactly the same, but like it felt the same as Taylor Swift. He had
the cultural influence.
And that was more in like 2015 to 2000, that was when he was really blowing up, and that's just what it feels like with Taylor Swift now.
I think one thing that, like, this is the same with Rihanna, the number one slot, is that, like, if you just survive like a while, like a decade, and then you still make what people think are bangers, that's good. Yeah. That's all you need to do.
How long has Taylor Swift been famous?
Long time.
Yeah.
I was like in high school.
Maybe because I thought freshman. She was, but I was wondering if maybe I was. She started a country artist. Okay.
I can't think of. I can hear the first single. See, she was a country artist, and you definitely heard it in high school. It was a popular song then. the song is called like Romeo and Juliet or Say Yes or something. I can think of the chorus, but I'm not about to sing Taylor.
Right.
But anyway, like
I can't.
So I think if you last a long time, you just get a certain notoriety. You know, it's hard. I don't know. Like, there's some other pop artists that's the thing about pop is like it goes so quickly. Like I think about like Doja Cat or somebody who's really coming up in the pop scene now, but will she be relevant in 5 years? Will she be relevant in 5 months? Who knows? Yeah, unsure.
I mean, I guess that's why people like Eminem still. I mean, he was still making really good. That's the thing.
He was making some music.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like, he'd make some really good ones.
He's made some good ones before.
Well, like I remember it was probably 2020 when he came out with Godzilla, you know? What? Not feeling it? I mean, you know, it was popular.
Yeah, it was popular.
Personal opinion, you know, we're just talking personal opinions aside.
Yeah, pop music back. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. It was popular. It was popular. Relevant.
It was one of those things that people loved, right? We're not disagreeing about that.
And he stand the test of time. He still released music after a billion years in the rap game that charted.
That's the point.
That's the metric.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And why people are still so into these artists that were famous 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think in a machine that like chews you up and spits you out so quickly, like
that's a good
something
good
to be
way
said.
To put it.
There's something to be said there. The fact that Taylor Swift has been relevant for
are all these people just relevant because of their big name? Are they still just putting out the same shit? You have to be relevant in the first
place to have a big name.
Sure, and that's the thing. They all became
so
relevant.
A lot of people get the big name and then they lose it. Like Soulja Boy, what's he up to?
That's right.
We'll do a podcast and I'll tell you what he's been up to.
What's he been up to? That's great.
The answers will shock you. But hilarious. Yeah, like to stay relevant in such a fast-moving market is really hard, actually. No. And I am not shitting on her. I actually think it's very impressive that she made a movie about a tour and she made $200 million, dude.
That's the
thing.
Holy
shit.
It's like people are always hitting new highs on money, I think, is what is getting people's attention.
But Madonna, like fucking none of these other girls out here having movies.
Sure.
I don't think so, at least. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Could that be a sign of the times, though, more than anything? Like,
no.
Because time.
You could have a shitty movie. Like,
sure. And there have been plenty of them, but
it's just, yeah, you don't know an icon or a legend until the past tense. Right? Like, so you don't know who is like Michael Jackson is a pop icon for some reason.
Some reason.
And like I think it's an interesting thought experiment to see like who will be considered that of our generation. Because somebody will be like Elvis. Elvis went like it's like, but like, you know, 2 generations from now are gonna like, dude, they're like Taylor Swift, the fuck.
See, I wonder if it is gonna be. Yeah, you know, that's a good question.
Like,
though.
Who do you think
it gonna be?
Who's gonna be who is the Elvis of our generation?
It's hard because
I think Ed Sheeran's in the vote.
I think that comes
Justin
back to
Bieber.
No.
Yeah, dude, he's from 13 years old. He's like 30 now.
Right.
The test of time. Still releasing singles that sell. I don't care if you don't like the music
anymore, though.
Dude, he's had like a #1 every year.
Has he?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Have you heard Peaches? That song was super relevant last year.
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I get my peaches out in Georgia.
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, okay. But it's on every station. It was like every other song on every station forever.
Okay. See,
and he's still releasing relevant. He fits the metric.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not Justin Bieber.
I wouldn't hate that, but Ed Sheeran maybe.
I'd be cool with that. I'd love that. But
Justin Timberlake, he's got a new single out, and it's doing well.
I was gonna say I'd be cool with that because Justin Timberlake.
I'm trying to think about somebody who's had longevity, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if Ed Sheeran counts for that yet. He's almost a decade old as far as his fame.
Yeah, maybe you need another... he needs to stay relevant
for
another
maybe
5 or 10
years, yeah.
And then he's in the running.
Then he would count for sure. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very good question. Because also you also have to take the technology into consideration, because back like when Elvis was big, it was like you had to be truly exceptional to get the kind of attention he got.
No. I think it's exactly the opposite.
What do you mean? Everyone has a fucking platform now.
So back then
you didn't.
Back then you had 12 options of like, okay, let's say in our parents' generation, I like rock music. I get 12 options of rock music.
Exactly.
And so
it's easier to choose.
And so back in Elvis's day, you got 10 guys on the radio.
It's easy to pick.
And he was different. So he was like the forefront for being different. Nowadays, I think it's way harder. You have to be really, really good and talented.
That's what I was saying. Like,
okay. I thought you were saying the opposite.
No.
Okay, yeah.
I was saying like it's harder to pick now, and it's harder to single it down to one. Now.
Sure.
Like
okay.
In Elvis's day, it's like, it's this guy. He's getting all the attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And then even in Michael Jackson's, it was a little harder, but like
there was more.
He was
competition.
also truly exceptional.
Sure.
But nowadays, it's like everybody's got a fucking platform, so it's much harder.
The competition is much harder for sure. So
to narrow it down to like who's the big one. You know what I mean? It's like you could probably pick a big 5, maybe even a big 10.
Even a tight 3 would be hard, probably.
It would, but that would probably be the good way to go. Is like who would be and man, I would totally throw Ed Sheeran in there because
I think you have to at this point. Like,
and Taylor Swift too.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran are 2 of them. But who would be the third? Because like I want to throw Eminem in there, but
no.
Yeah,
you don't get
that's
to.
Hip hop. That's rap too. It's not quite.
His legend status has already kind of happened too.
Yeah, would you say that's a different?
When I think of
generation,
him
though.
Yeah, I think we're already a generation past his heyday.
Okay. So then, he would be the one before.
It's like Elton John he did a feature in 2021.
Yeah.
That's not the best Elton John song.
Yeah.
Like Ozzy Osbourne's still releasing music, but he's not.
People aren't still like, dude.
He's not relevant.
Yeah.
You
Did you hear
like
the new Ozzy song?
They're glad he's doing well, but
yeah.
But it's not like a fucking banger.
Right.
It's a good Ozzy song for 85.
So who would get the 3rd slot after Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran?
Might be Kanye.
No.
It might be.
I won't allow it on this podcast.
Hate to break it to you. Hey, I don't make the rules. Might be Kanye. To bring it full circle.
Now I'm regretting that we even decided to do a top 3.
To bring it full circle, we use our same metric. Longevity. Singles throughout time that have been charting. Social zeitgeist.
See, because I would put Kanye in the same generation as Eminem, by the way.
No, he's still releasing music that people would indeed feel are bangers.
Only to the same degree as Eminem.
I disagree.
Because, I guess it's been a minute now.
Kanye West says, "You're such a fucking hoe. I love it." Eminem is preaching at me for being slow when I walk or something.
I don't even know. I don't know. See, they're both just like that generation of rapper too.
I would say like if you compare the numbers and the amount of influence in society currently, Kanye West is winning.
Yeah. But see, I think that's just because...
What do Zoomers think about Eminem?
You know why I think that is? I think that's because Eminem has gotten saner and Kanye has gotten crazier. Exactly. I think that's the only reason.
Exactly. So, like, Kanye West is not releasing...
I don't think it has to do with their music, though.
I didn't mind Donda. It was alright. Kanye West released a special edition Donda speaker. It was a Bluetooth speaker that only played that album. And if you wanted the extended version of the album, you had to buy the speaker. It was like $150 to listen to the extended version. And it
this has Kanye written.
So you know what like a stem is like? Yeah, that's an audio file. It's the different audio tracks. This Bluetooth speaker, you could cut out like the drums and just listen to like it without percussion, or you could like just listen to the acapella if you wanted to talk about hoes acapella. It was so funny, such a stupid gimmick, and made a ton of money.
I'm sure it did.
Eminem
ain't done nothing like that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
That's cultural influence. Yeezys, where are the Emmys? the fucking Marshall Marthy's.
Yeah.
He doesn't have sneakers. That's the type of thing that's going to get them.
I thought we were just talking about the music.
No, we're talking about legend status.
Yeah, all right. In that sense, yeah.
Michael Jackson is legend status because he had a Ferris wheel and chimps at his house.
Yeah, that's true. And Elvis did more than just fucking rock and roll. He was big in
cultural influence. It's
the hip thing.
Test of time. It's singles throughout time. It's money, but it's cultural influence. So even bad press is press. Kanye West, I bet, has
nobody we can pick besides Kanye. Because
I think he's a good candidate. You know,
he is a good candidate. But I think a lot of that is like he has been crazy, and I think he has done it specifically to make lists.
Here's somebody else that okay, fine. You get to choose him or Chris Brown.
Chris Brown?
Chris Brown is the person that beat the fuck
of Chris Brown
out of Rihanna. And then has released.
Why do we have to pick one of those guys?
Test of time, singles, the criteria we've established. He's still releasing.
I'll give you Kanye over Chris Brown.
Yeah,
Chris Brown is like
he beat the fuck out of her. He got charged for it, and then wrote songs about womanizing for 2 decades.
Yeah, I know.
And people are still like,
throw in Chris Brown.
I mean, okay, maybe Cudi. Maybe Cudi. Cudi might. I don't know.
If we can use Cudi, I'll put him. But see, he's not.
I don't know. He's not that relevant.
If we're being objective, he's not nearly the relevant.
He's not that relevant.
And I'll even say musically, he is not as nearly as popular as Kanye.
Darkest Timeline, it's Pitbull. Ooh. I hate Pitbull.
You know what, though?
The criteria. Pitbull has a song out right now.
It's so weird because he's like the farthest thing from my mind, but the criteria says he fits.
How long has Pitbull been in the game? I must know.
That's a good question because the criteria is it has to. I say at least 10 years, which is why I'm not sure about Ed Sheeran, but he probably has been out long enough.
So since 2002, so that's not. It's 21 years. That's 2 decades. Okay, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's plenty of time for what we've been saying. But see, that's almost, is that too long? Because Eminem was 2000.
Chris Brown, same year. Oh. Ed Sheeran came up like a decade after. So
hard. He's the one. He's on the low end, but there's also a high end. You said Eminem was like, yes, his peak was around then, but again, he was going nuts like not even 5 years ago.
Yeah,
as well. And people,
well, in the hip hop game, he'll always be.
And
a
again,
legend.
he just hasn't been. And that, well, you know,
but like I'm saying, pop sphere.
Yeah. And
because
he
has his place in
I will
the
submit
hip-hop
he has
game.
been less crazy, and that has gotten him less in the public eye compared to some of these other people.
Sure.
Because that was Eminem's niche for a while. Was I'm crazy, and now that he's not, it's like all about the music, and it's like when he's not releasing music, he's not really doing
relevant.
It. Whereas Kanye is constantly releasing music, good or bad, and he's also crazy.
He's got clothing, he's got this, he's got that, he's doing things. Like Jay-Z, I would hate.
Also too old.
I would hate if he got into. I mean, he deserves a place in hip hop, but like not in pop.
Into the top 3 that we're talking about. He's he's a hip hop icon, a hip hop legend. He is one of the greats when it comes to that. But when we're talking about, if we're trying to define what is this generation,
but he's not relevant.
Not
who's
enough.
the Elvis of this generation?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to say
right now. Like he's one of the he is like there's like 5 Elvises of hip hop, and Jay-Z is one of them. You know what I mean? But as far as like the pop scene, I just because I don't want to give you Kanye, but you're very right when it comes to him, so I want to find someone else.
Let's see how long Kanye West. Damn it! So we know that Pitbull and Chris Brown with 2002.
I mean, Pitbull just doesn't seem like he's quite. Like, you'd almost have to give it to Kanye over Pitbull.
I disagree.
Really?
Well, I think it's a fair argument, actually. Like, Pitbull currently has a song on the radio, and it's the same thing, and it's doing well. Mid-1990s for Kanye West. 96 debut album.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying, like...
Damn.
I'm telling you right now, man, the only reason Kanye is relevant still is because he's crazy. If it was just based on music, like some of these other people, he would not be relevant at all. He's
Donda
also
wasn't
crazy.
Bad. The album before that wasn't bad.
But see, you're saying wasn't bad. You're not saying it was iconically crazy.
Yeah, it didn't change my life.
Yeah. And I mean, you could say the same about Eminem. You know.
Yeah.
I liked Kamikaze.
In fact, I enjoy Kanye West albums more than Eminem. Hot take.
That's fair. That I mean, you know, that's a very
They're more
common.
fun.
I think that's
They're
more
both
common
bad.
take. I mean,
the other one's more fun.
As far as life changing, neither one of them is that. But but like when Kamikaze came out, I enjoyed that. You know, I enjoyed it with our mutual friend a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like Kanye. Every time I hear a song by him, like, unless it has someone else that's like also good, and they're like, I don't know, I can't remember a song by Kanye where I was like, this is good. So the joke that between me and one of my friends at work is that, like, if you hear that country voice, you know, or even just the kind of rap where it's just like, I got more money than you, I fucked your girlfriend, I got grills, this and that. Like, you hear either one of those two things and immediately, and like it makes it 10 times funnier when it's like they're being serious. Because I come in and I'm like, this is a joke song, right? Because I'll hear that voice, or I'll hear those types of like, I'm a rapper, this and that, you know, I'm better than you, I got more money than you. When I hear that shit, it's like, I start laughing right away because it's just like, it's a joke song, right? But like, no, these people are being dead serious.
Yeah, you never know though. Like, just to wrap it up, like, it comes back to everything we've talked about on this episode, that it could be a persona.
Yeah.
Like,
it could.
Did Jimmy Buffett really like margaritas that much?
Well, and you see,
is he drinking them on a Tuesday?
I actually think though, and even as someone who's not really a country music fan, you know,
sure,
you get back to those older artists, I feel like a lot more of that stuff was real art.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like these things that you're known for, or like the things you talk about in your songs are not necessarily your favorite things and identify with you. You know, like Rihanna has a song about BDSM. She has 3 kids. like I bet they're not getting that freaky on a Tuesday.
Well,
you know, like, I don't know.
You definitely never know.
So you never know.
When it comes to things like
that. When it's artists that are so obvious, oh fuck, I can't think of his name. Yeah, Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane says all the stupidest things in his lyrics. I doubt he's really like that. Like, or like Rick Ross is playing a character. I think a lot of these people are playing characters, and they can't like even some of them country boys, you know. They probably grew up in Pittsburgh, you know?
No, well, and that's the thing that kind of is irritating to me, you know? And again, I understand
but if you're dumb enough,
it appeals to people,
but
and
if you
fine.
are dumb enough to buy the shtick, then shame on you.
No, and that's the thing. I'm not buying the shtick. That's what irritates me about it.
But people do.
Yeah, sure. And I should blame the people. I shouldn't be blaming the artist, like I was saying earlier.
Just like what we said this entire episode. It's if you want to make money doing feet pics or ruling a country or being Taylor Swift in selling a tour twice
once or a bunch of times. Once is the tour and then a bunch of times is a movie.
Yeah, like
because you sell it multiple times.
Or you want to like scare people professionally on TV. I'm not that mad at you. If you're that dumb to like emotionally respond to it, shame on you, not them.
Yeah.
Evil people aside, there are some people that are actually evil, but some people are just trying to stay culturally relevant. They say shocking. Ben Shapiro, like we said, like that, like he's just like trying to make you mad. And
this is a live thought, not a common philosophical thought of mine, and it should be. But like at the end of the day, it's like if people do get enjoyment out of this shit, if it makes their life better, truly more positive, who the fuck are we to like shit on any of it at the same time?
Yeah, and like I also, in the same vein, have no sympathy for somebody who feels emotionally charged, like angry.
Sure.
That Ben Shapiro said something about anything.
And that's the big point, I think.
So, like, it could be happiness or this or that. But if you get duped by an icon.
Yeah, exactly. That's more the point. It's like if you're getting angry from it,
the people we talked about tonight were just like people that have mass influence because people let them.
Yeah. And I've been a million times guilty of being the person who gets angry about some of the. But yeah, it's like definitely like the last 2, maybe even 3 years now. It's easier to just kind of let it go.
So yeah, I guess this will be my wise word for the night. If you want to like dehumanize people that you think might be absolute villains, like think about what Jeff Bezos is like on a Thursday afternoon, and it's probably pretty fucking boring. Realistically, like, you know, you can. That these bad people shouldn't hold as much space in your mind as sometimes we let them, like, or good people. Like, don't fucking suck at somebody off so hard, or want to fucking kill their family.
And
just chill out.
And especially, obviously, don't obsess in a negative way, and too positive of a way either, because also you never know when that whole world could come crashing down, and now you don't know who the fuck you are, you know.
Just protect who you give your faith and trust into.
Scrutinize the fuck out of them too.
Yeah,
look for the worst things.
Don't scrutinize them at all. Enjoy the art they make and dip out.
Yeah,
I don't need to know.
That's a good way to do it.
I don't need to know what John Mayer's like,
or take
or whatever.
I guess when I say scrutinize, like take your time. If you want to like somebody, take your time finding out who they are before you especially throw your weight behind them and argue for them when it's like, this is a celebrity that you don't fucking know. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've gotten to that point with people who they want to shit all over a celebrity, and it's like, yeah, well, I'm not going to sit here and join you in that because I don't know the things you know, like I don't want to give examples right now because we're wrapping it up, but like, you know, it's just like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, fuck that person. I'm just going to be like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to, because I don't want to argue, because I don't know the facts to be opposite either. But it's just one of those things. It's like, don't let people, when it comes to celebrities, or even just, I guess this could apply to your just day-to-day life, you know, with other people you work with or whatever. this could apply to anybody. It's just like, don't do your own fucking homework. You know? Don't just like, oh, you hear this about this person, whether they be someone you know or a celebrity or something. Just like, see what you think you know.
Yeah.
Or like, especially,
or have your own standards to what you think a good person is.
Yeah, and definitely don't try to exclude art because of an asshole. I would never be able to listen to Falling in Reverse or Old Escape the Fate.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, because Ronnie's an asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
Essentially.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think of I don't know if you remember the band Lost Prophets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh god,
dude.
See, that's one of the ones. That's a great example. That's one of the ones where I can't listen to that music anymore.
See, and I was like, actually, so I was like, not even a huge fan of them, especially back in the day.
They were just coming up, but like gaining a lot of attraction.
I actually didn't even become a fan of the music until way after everything had been found out, but I didn't know. You know what I mean?
But I just know.
I just heard the music and I was like, this is good stuff. And I think it was my roommate, and he was really casual. He didn't look at me like I was the devil or anything, but some Lost Prophets came on, and he was actually even banging his head because he was really relaxed dude. You know, I liked him a lot, but he was just like, so you heard about this guy, right? I was like, oh no, what did he die or something? And he's like, no, man. Like, and he mentioned it. And he's like, yeah, this dude's like hardcore, like
the worst, man.
Like the worst kind of sex offender. Yeah,
the worst man.
And I was just like, oh, well, that sucks.
Yep.
I was really enjoying this song.
That's probably a tough pitch. Like, I imagine, it's like a year after the trial or something. You're like, I just started getting into this band. I really like him. And they're like, ooh. Good thing he was a good guy about it and didn't razz you too hard. But anything else you want to say before we sign off here? Yeah,
just try not to think about...
Don't idolize anybody.
Don't idolize anybody.
Yeah.
Don't build statues.
You can like somebody, but don't idolize them.
Well, and
nobody's perfect.
I was gonna say you can. Like if you have really, you can idolize people, but you need to understand this. Don't idolize celebrities. How about that? Don't idolize celebrities.
Yeah.
Don't idolize like musicians. Don't idolize actors. Don't idolize these people.
Yeah.
Politicians.
Artists. Public figures of any sort. You can idolize.
Enjoy their shit.
You can idolize your grandma. Okay.
Exactly, your grandma. That's what I was thinking.
She deserves
like your parents, your whoever raised you, if it's not any family, right? That your extended family, whatever it might be.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, because then that nothing.
Not even them.
Try to ground yourself in reality.
Yeah. All right. Well. This has been a fun one. Thank you for listening to our late night rambles. We didn't say anything, but it's almost midnight here. So we're going to let you guys go. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and sign off, Sam.
Have a good night, dodo birds, because he's the...
Slim Picknz on the intro and outro.
This is Slim Picknz that you're hearing right now.